The night sky above the small desert town was clear, quiet, and ordinary. Stars blinked softly, just like they had every night before. No alarms sounded, no warnings came. No great world power noticed anything wrong. That was why the ship chose this place. It appeared without fire, without noise, and without tearing the sky apart. One moment, the stars were empty. The next, something was there. Smooth, silver, and shaped like it had been designed by someone who understood beauty as much as function. It hovered a few meters above the sand, ignoring gravity as if it were a polite suggestion rather than a law. The first human to see it was not a soldier, a scientist, or an important leader. It was a man, walking home from his late shift. He stopped mid-step, frozen, his brain struggling to decide if he was dreaming, hallucinating, or finally losing his mind. The air felt different, heavy but calm, like the moment before rain. The ship slowly lowered itself and settled onto the ground without leaving a mark. A section of the hull opened. She stepped out alone. She looked almost human, which somehow made everything worse. 2 arms, 2 legs. A face shaped in a way humans instinctively understood. But her skin shimmered faintly, as if light lived just beneath it. Her eyes reflected the stars too clearly, too deeply, like windows into a sky that was not Earth's. She scanned the area, her gaze sharp but not hostile. Then she smiled, not wide, not friendly, certain. Within minutes, satellites noticed something strange. Then, radars. Then people in uniforms started shouting into radios. But by the time jets were scrambled and phones started ringing in government buildings, she had already begun walking. She did not go toward cities. She went toward him. The man's name was not important to history. He lived alone. He paid his bills late, but always paid them. He helped his neighbors when asked, and kept to himself when not. He was not famous. He was not special. He was just human. He stood rooted to the ground as she approached, his heart hammering so hard he was sure she could hear it. She stopped a few steps away. "You are the one," she said. Her voice was calm, clear, and perfect English, without accent, without hesitation. He swallowed. "I think you might have the wrong person." She tilted her head slightly, studying him like a puzzle she already knew the answer to. "No," she said. "I am very sure." Behind them, the distant sound of sirens began to rise. He laughed weakly. "Look, I don't know who you are or what you are, but if you're looking for someone important, that's not me." She looked past him, toward the town, toward the lights, the people, the noise of human life. "Your species believes importance is loud," she said. "That is a mistake." The ground trembled slightly as military vehicles approached the area. Drones buzzed overhead, cautious and nervous. Red dots from targeting systems danced briefly across her body. She noticed them. She ignored them.
"I came a long way," she continued, "to find proof."
"Proof of what?"
he asked quietly.
She met his eyes. "That you exist," a sharp voice echoed through a loudspeaker. Orders were shouted. Someone demanded she identify herself and state her intentions. She turned her head toward the sound, but did not respond. Instead, she raised one hand. Every engine stopped. Vehicles died. Drones fell harmlessly to the sand. Radios went silent. Power grids flickered, then shut down in a wide radius. The night became darker, quieter, and far more afraid. The man stared at her, breath shallow.
"You did that?" She lowered her hand. "Yes, that was a lot."
She looked back at him. This was restraint. He did not know why, but that answer scared him more than the display itself. Military personnel approached carefully on foot now, weapons raised but hands shaking. None of them fired. Something about her presence made even the bravest hesitate. She did not acknowledge them.
"You are afraid," she said to the man. "Yeah," he replied honestly.
Very. She nodded once, as if confirming data. Good. Good. Yes. You are afraid, but you are still here. You did not run. You did not attack. You did not collapse. That matters.
To who? To the galaxy. That word hung in the air like a dropped glass that never hit the floor. She took a slow breath, then spoke louder, her voice carrying effortlessly.
I am not here to conquer your world, she said. I am not here to trade, to threaten, or to observe from a distance. I am here because my people are dying. Murmurs rippled through the soldiers. Cameras recorded every second. Our civilizations rise, she continued. Become efficient, stable, perfect. And then they fail. Again and again. Always the same way.
She gestured toward the man beside her. "And then there is you."
One of the officers finally spoke.
You can't just come here and...
She looked at him. Just looked. He stopped speaking. Your species should not exist, she said calmly. Statistically, psychologically, logically, humans should have destroyed themselves thousands of years ago. She turned back to the man. But you didn't. He rubbed his face with one hand.
"Okay, I feel like I missed a few steps here."
A faint curve appeared at the corner of her mouth. Humor. Even now. She stepped closer, lowering her voice so only he could hear. You fail constantly, she said. You fight each other. You make poor choices. You act on emotion instead of logic. That doesn't sound great. And yet, she said, you adapt. You endure. You bond.
You rebuild. Her eyes softened, just slightly.
You survive things that should break you. He thought of nights alone, losses he never talked about, mornings where getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. Congratulations, he muttered. She nodded. Yes. The officer regained his voice.
You're causing a global crisis. She turned to him again. No.
I am revealing one. Lights appeared on the horizon. More vehicles. More people. News helicopters. Panic spreading faster than fire. She sighed, a sound heavy with age.
This is why we avoid contact, she said quietly.
So many voices. So much fear. Then she straightened. But I have found what I was searching for. She looked at the man one last time.
Your world will be watched now, she said. Judged.
Feared. His stomach dropped. Because of me? Because of all of you, she replied. You are a variable no one planned for. She stepped back toward her ship.
This is only the beginning.
He found his voice at last.
Wait.
You can't just drop something like this and leave. She paused at the edge of the open hull. I can, she said gently. And I must. She hesitated, then added, but I will return. For what? Her eyes met his again, steady and sure. For you. The ship closed around her. It rose silently into the sky, vanished between one heartbeat and the next, and left the world forever changed. The man stood in the dark, surrounded by soldiers, cameras, and a future no one was ready for. Above him, the stars felt closer than they ever had before. And for the first time in human history, the universe had looked at humanity and said, we need them. The world did not sleep that night. News spread faster than fear, and fear spread faster than truth. Videos of the silver ship filled every screen. Some were clear. Some were shaking and blurred. Some were fake within hours. But all of them showed the same impossible thing. Someone had come from the stars. Man was taken away before the sun rose. Not arrested, not welcomed, simply moved, carefully and quietly, like a fragile object no one understood yet. He sat in the back of a military vehicle, hands resting on his knees, staring at the dark window as lights passed by. He kept thinking the same thought again and again. She said she would return. A secure facility became his new home. The walls were clean, white, and silent. People watched him through glass, through cameras, through polite smiles that never reached their eyes. They asked questions, thousands of questions. What did she look like? What exactly did she say? Did she touch you? Did she threaten you? Did she give you anything? Did you feel different? He answered honestly. I don't know, became his most common reply, because he truly did not know. Doctors scanned him. Scientists tested him. Psychologists spoke gently, then more firmly, then with visible frustration. They found nothing unusual. No changes, no implants, no strange energy, just a human. That confused them more than anything else. Outside, the world argued. Some people called him chosen. Others called him dangerous. A few called him a liar. Religious groups claimed answers. Political leaders demanded control. Militaries prepared for threats they could not name. And somewhere far above Earth, instruments recorded movement. In deep space, the stars were no longer quiet. The man was allowed outside once a day. A small courtyard, high walls, artificial skylighting. He sat on a bench, hands clasped, trying to breathe through the weight pressing on his chest. You look calm, a woman said. She wore a simple suit, no rank visible. Older, sharp eyes. I'm not, he said. I just ran out of energy to panic. She nodded. Fair. She sat beside him, leaving space. Do you know why you? He shook his head. That's what everyone keeps asking me. Good, she said.
That means we're all equally confused.
She studied him for a moment. You didn't fight her. You didn't worship her. You didn't beg? I was scared, he said. Exactly. He frowned. That's good, she smiled slightly. Fear is honest. Panic is loud. You stayed honest. He looked away.
She said humans shouldn't exist. Yes, the woman replied, and yet, here we are.
Making her nervous. That earned a small laugh from him. It surprised both of them. That night the sky changed again. Not with fire, not with invasion, with silence. Satellites across the planet recorded brief shadows. Objects passing between stars faster than anything known. Then, they were gone. Someone was watching. The alien woman stood in a chamber of light aboard her vessel. Far from Earth now. Around her, shifting shapes represented her people. Minds connected, sharing thought instead of sound. She found it, one presence said. She found proof, another corrected. Some felt relief. Others felt fear.
Humans are unstable, a voice warned. They act without calculation. They act with connection, she replied.
That is the difference. They destroy themselves, and yet they endure. Images flowed through the chamber. Human history, war and peace, loss and rebuilding. A species that refused to stay broken. The pattern is clear, she said. Perfection leads to collapse. Emotion creates chaos. Chaos creates adaptation, and adaptation creates survival. Another mind admitted. There was hesitation. debate. Old civilizations did not change easily. Bringing them into the wider galaxy will cause disruption. Yes, she agreed. That is the point. Back on Earth, the man dreamed. He stood in a place with no ground and no sky. Stars surrounded him, closer than before. She stood across from him, hands folded behind her back.
You are thinking too loudly, she said. This is a dream, he replied.
She nodded.
Yes. Are you really here? In a way.
He crossed his arms. You said you'd return. I am, she said. This is preparation. For what? For attention. The stars shifted. Shapes moved in the dark. They are afraid of you, she said. Of me? He scoffed.
I can barely handle my own life.
Exactly, she replied. You endure without certainty, without guidance, without guarantees. She stepped closer. Tell me, if your world was threatened, what would you do? He thought of people arguing online, of neighbors helping each other during storms, of strangers standing together when things went wrong. I don't know, he said slowly. We'd fight. We'd fail. We'd fight again. She smiled, this time warm. That answer is why I chose you. He woke with a sharp breath. The room was quiet, but his heart raced. On the other side of the galaxy, a decision was forming. On Earth, alarms rang again, not for attack, but for arrival. A message appeared on every screen, every language, every network. Simple, clear. We see you! Panic surged. The man was rushed to a command room. Leaders stared at him like he had answers hidden under his skin. The screen changed. Stars filled it. Then her face. I told you I would return, she said calmly. This time, she continued, I am not alone. The silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. She looked directly into the camera. Humanity, she said, you are no longer unnoticed. The man swallowed. Part of him wanted to hide. Another part, quiet, stubborn, very human, stood a little straighter, because whatever came next, running, had never really been his way, and the universe was about to learn that about all of them. The room felt too small for what was happening. Screens covered the walls, each one showing the same image, stars slowly moving, silent and endless. The alien woman's face had vanished moments ago, leaving behind a quiet that pressed on everyone's ears. The man stood near the center of the room, hands clenched at his sides. No one told him where to stand. No one told him what to do. Yet every important person in the room kept glancing at him, as if answers might suddenly fall out of his mouth. They said we are no longer unnoticed, someone whispered. That's not a threat, another replied. That's worse. Outside the facility, the world held its breath. Flights were grounded. Markets froze. People gathered in streets and living rooms, staring at screens, arguing, praying, laughing nervously. Humanity had always wondered if it was alone. Now, it knew it wasn't. The man was escorted back to his room, but sleep did not come. His thoughts were loud, racing, tangled. She had spoken to him in a dream. She had said this was preparation. For attention, he sat on the edge of his bed, rubbing his hands together.
You picked the wrong guy, he muttered to the empty room. The lights dimmed without warning.
He froze. The air shifted, that same heavy calm from the desert night. The wall across from him rippled like water. Then, she was there. Not a hologram, not a screen. Her feet touched the floor as if she had always belonged there. He stood up slowly. You really like dramatic entrances? She studied him, then nodded. Yes, it is effective. People are freaking out, he said.
You might have noticed. I did, she replied. Your species is very expressive.
He let out a short breath. Why now? Because the observers are no longer content to observe, she said. He felt a chill. Observers! She walked around the room, fingers brushing the air, but touching nothing. There are many civilizations older than mine.
Older than yours. They learn to survive by removing risk.
Sounds smart. It is, she agreed. Until it isn't. She stopped in front of him.
They fear humanity because you do not remove risk. You live inside it. He frowned.
We don't exactly choose that. Choice is not required, she said. Instinct is enough. She raised one hand and the room filled with faint images, alien worlds, beautiful and empty.
They optimized themselves, she said. No war.
No hunger, no conflict, and no growth. The images faded into silence. They faded away, she continued. Not violently, quietly. He swallowed. And you think we won't? I know you won't, she replied. You argue, you struggle, you feel loss, and still you move forward. He looked at her. Some of us don't. She met his gaze. Enough of you do. The lights returned. The images vanished. Why me? He asked again, softer this time. She tilted her head. Because when faced with the impossible, you did not ask how to win. You asked what was happening. That doesn't sound heroic. It is honest, she said. Honesty survives longer than courage. Outside the facility, the sky changed. For the first time in human history, ships appeared openly in orbit. Not attacking, not hiding, waiting. Different shapes, different designs. Dozens, then hundreds. The world watched in stunned silence. Some ships pulsed with light. Others were dark, sharp, unnatural. None of them fired a single weapon. But their presence alone was enough. The message was clear.
You are being evaluated.
Inside command centers, voices rose. Plans were made and abandoned. Weapons were readied and then lowered. Humanity had never been united, but it had also never been this aware of itself. The man stood beside the alien woman, watching live feeds.
They're judging us, he said. Yes. Based on what? She gestured toward the screens.
Everything. Riots in one city, aid convoys in another, fear, kindness, confusion, defiance, humanity, unfiltered.
They want to decide if you are a threat, she said. Or a mistake. And you? I already decided.
He looked at her. You're on our side? She paused. I am on the side of survival, she said. Yours and theirs. A low hum filled the air. One of the ships in orbit moved closer, projecting a signal that forced itself onto every broadcast. A new voice spoke. Cold.
Precise. Unemotional.
Human civilization, it said. You are inefficient, unstable, and dangerous. The words hit like a slap. You spread conflict wherever you exist, the voice continued. You resist optimization. You value emotion over logic. The man clenched his jaw. You should not be allowed to expand. The alien woman stepped forward, eyes sharp. You mistake unpredictability for failure. You mistake chaos for strength, the voice replied. Chaos is strength, she said. When reality changes. Images flashed. Human rescue workers in disasters. Doctors improvising treatments. Engineers fixing the impossible with scraps and stubbornness. You adapt, she said. You do not freeze. The voice was silent for a moment. Then, your argument is emotional. Yes, she replied. That is why it matters. The signal cut. The ships did not move. They're debating our right to exist, the man said quietly.
Yes. And? We don't get a vote?
She looked at him.
You always get a vote.
You simply express it differently. He looked at the screen again. How? She met his eyes.
By what you choose to do next. On Earth, something strange began to happen. Not orders.
Not speeches. People helped, not because they were told to, but because fear had reminded them what mattered. Power grids were repaired. Food was shared. Old arguments paused, not ended, but set aside. Humanity did not become perfect. It became human. The ships in orbit recorded everything. The man felt something settle in his chest. Fear, yes, but also resolve. If they decide we're a problem, he said, what happens? She answered honestly.
Some will try to stop you.
And you? I will stand with you. He nodded slowly. Then I guess...
We'll figure it out. A faint smile touched her face. That answer, she said, is exactly why the galaxy is afraid of you. Above Earth, the stars watched. And for the first time, the judgment was no longer one-sided. Humanity was not waiting to be saved. It was deciding who it was. The ships did not leave. They stayed in orbit, silent and unmoving, like eyes that never blinked. Days passed, but time felt strange. Every sunrise felt borrowed. Every night felt watched. The man stood on the roof of the facility, looking up at the sky. The stars were harder to see now. Too many shapes blocked them. You are thinking again, the alien woman said behind him. He did not turn. Kind of hard not to. She stepped beside him, her presence calm in a way that felt unreal compared to the world below. They are still arguing, she said. Some want isolation. Some want containment. Some want removal. He exhaled slowly.
Removal sounds bad. Yes, she agreed. It usually is. On Earth, humanity struggled with itself.
Some people demanded surrender, hoping obedience would save them. Others demanded resistance, ready to fight enemies they could not understand. Nations argued, alliances cracked, old grudges resurfaced. But something else happened too. Ordinary people stepped up, not heroes, not leaders, humans. Communities organized without orders. Engineers worked through the night to improve defenses they hoped would never be used. Scientists shared data freely, ignoring borders. Doctors prepared for emergencies without knowing what kind. Humanity did what it always did when cornered. It adapted. The alien observers noticed. Their ships recorded everything. Not just technology, but behavior. Fear, paired with compassion. Anger, paired with restraint. Violence existed, but so did refusal. Inside, one of the massive alien vessels' voices argued without sound. They are dangerous, one presence insisted. Their history proves it, so does their present, another replied. They prepare to defend, not to conquer. They do not follow logic. They follow each other. That caused a pause. Connection was expensive, inefficient, risky. And yet, back on Earth, the man was called into a meeting room. Screens showed alien ships repositioning.
One vessel had moved closer than the others. They're making a decision, someone said.
The alien woman stood still, eyes focused.
Yes. About what?
The man asked. Whether humanity becomes contained, she said, or involved. The room went quiet. Involved? How? He asked. She looked at him. As participants, a new signal cut through every system on Earth. Louder than before. Sharper, the cold voice returned. Human civilization, it said, You are invited to present justification for your continued expansion. The man felt his heart drop. They want us to explain ourselves? Yes, the alien woman said. In their terms. And if we don't, then others will speak for you. That was worse. Leaders argued again. Drafts were written and erased, speeches prepared and abandoned. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt enough. The man stood up. Everyone turned to him. This is a bad idea, someone said immediately. He nodded. Probably. You're not a representative? I'm human, he replied. That seems to be the qualification. The alien woman watched him closely. You understand what this means. Not really, he admitted, but neither do they. Silence followed. Then she nodded.
I will translate, the broadcast began. No grand stage.
No dramatic lighting, just a human standing in a plain room, looking tired and very small compared to the stars behind him.
He took a breath. We know we're messy, he said.
We know we're dangerous sometimes, the cold voice interrupted. That is not in dispute. Good, he replied, because we're not here to pretend otherwise. People across Earth held their breath. We fight.
We fail. We hurt each other, he continued.
But we also learn. Slowly.
Painfully, not perfectly. He paused, choosing words carefully. You optimize for survival by removing pain. We survive by facing it. Images appeared, human history, unfiltered. Wars, disasters, recoveries. We don't get stronger by being safe, he said. We get stronger by getting back up. The alien ships remained silent. We don't know what will become out there, he admitted. But we know one thing. He looked directly at the camera. We don't give up on each other. The room was quiet when the broadcast ended. Too quiet. Then movement. One of the ships powered up, not weapons, but engines. It moved closer, massive and slow. The cold voice returned, different now.
Last certain. You risk spreading instability. Yes, the man replied.
But also hope. Hope is inefficient. So are we, he said. And yet we're still here. The alien woman watched the ships carefully. Signals passed between them. Faster than thought. Finally, a response. Humanity, the voice said. You will be allowed limited interaction with the wider network. Gasps filled the room. Observation will continue. Intervention will be immediate if your influence becomes destructive. The man closed his eyes for a second. That's fair, he said. The ships began to move. Not away, but into formation.
You are not trusted,
the voice added. The alien woman smiled faintly. Neither were we. The signal ended.
On Earth,
people cried. Laughed. Collapsed from relief. Nothing was solved, but something had changed. Humanity was no longer a secret. The man returned to the roof that night. The alien woman joined him again. You spoke well, she said. I just told the truth, he replied. Truth is rare among advanced civilizations. What happens now? He asked. Now, she said, the galaxy adjusts. He frowned. That sounds dangerous. Yes, she agreed. Below them, Earth kept moving. Still flawed. Still divided. Still stubborn. And above them, the universe learned something important. Humans were not perfect. They were persistent, and that made all the difference. The stars did not leave after the decision. They stayed, not as judges anymore, but as witnesses. Life on Earth did not suddenly become peaceful or perfect. People still argued. Governments still struggled. Fear did not vanish. But something deep had shifted. Humanity knew it was seen. Not as a rumor, not as a theory, but as a presence that mattered. The man walked through the facility halls one last time, without guards beside him. People still watched him, but their looks had changed. Less suspicion, more respect. Some smiled. Some nodded. He was still the same person. He still felt tired, still unsure. But now the universe knew his name, even if history never would. The alien woman waited for him in the courtyard, the artificial sky glowing softly above them. "They are preparing the network," she said. He leaned against the railing. "Sounds big." "It is," she replied. "Humanity will be introduced." Slowly. "Introduced like a guest?" he asked. "Or like a problem?"
She considered. "Like a storm they hope will rain instead of destroy." He snorted.
"Good luck with that," she looked at him. "You do not see yourselves clearly." "Probably not. You believe your flaws are weaknesses," she continued.
"But they are tools," he frowned. "Most tools don't cause this many problems. Neither do they change the galaxy." Above Earth, one of the alien ships separated from the formation.
Smaller, sleeker. It began its descent, not hidden, not rushed. This time, there was no panic. Crowds watched, cameras rolled, children pointed at the sky. Humanity had learned something important over the last few days. Fear was natural. Freezing was optional. The ship landed far from cities, in open land. The ground trembled slightly, but nothing broke. Nothing burned. A ramp lowered. Not soldiers. Delegates. Different shapes. Different sizes. Different ways of standing and moving. None of them human. And none of them hostile. The man stood beside the alien woman as they watched the feeds. "That's it," he said quietly. "No turning back now." "No," she agreed. "That ended when you spoke." He sighed. "I was hoping this would be less official." She smiled. "Civilizations rarely grow quietly. The first meetings were awkward. Translation delays, misunderstandings, long silences, short tempers. Humans gestured too much. Some aliens did not gesture at all. Others found eye contact disturbing. But something unexpected happened. They kept trying, not because it was easy, because it mattered. Human engineers listened more than they spoke. Human doctors asked questions instead of offering solutions. Human diplomats admitted ignorance, openly. The galaxy noticed.
"They do not assume superiority," one observer noted. "They assume responsibility," another replied.
The man was not present at most meetings. That surprised him and relieved him. His role was finished, or so he thought. One night, as Earth slept more peacefully than it had in days, the alien woman appeared again at his side, looking thoughtful.
"They are afraid," she said. "Still?"
he asked. "Yes," she replied. "But now it is a different fear." "Of what?" "Of becoming like you." He blinked. "That doesn't sound so bad." "It is," she said. "Change always is." She looked at him.
"They see how you argue, yet cooperate.
How you feel deeply, yet move forward. How you refuse to let pain define the end." He rubbed his neck. "We mess up a lot." "Yes," she said. "And then you try again." Silence stretched between them. "What happens to you?" he asked finally. She looked at the stars. "I will stay for a time." "Then I will return to my people. You won't be alone anymore?" he said. "No," she agreed. "Because of you." He shook his head. "I didn't do this." She met his eyes. "You showed them who you are. That was enough." Years passed. Human ships did not rush into the galaxy. Humanity learned, slowly, carefully, with mistakes, with apologies, with stubborn progress. Some alien civilizations changed, others resisted. A few withdrew, unwilling to face uncertainty again. But the collapse stopped, not everywhere, but enough. Humanity became known not as conquerors, but as connectors, the species that sat between logic and emotion, and refused to choose only one. The galaxy learned new words. Hope, resilience, second chances. The man returned to an ordinary life, a quieter one. He lived near the ocean. He fixed things with his hands. He watched the stars sometimes, but not with fear. One evening, a familiar presence joined him on the shore. "You were right," he said, not turning. "I know," she replied. "They're still arguing out there." "Yes, they always will." She smiled. "So will you." He looked at the sky, where faint lights moved between stars, no longer hidden.
"We're not perfect," he said. "No," she agreed. "We never will be."
She nodded.
"That is why you will survive." The waves rolled in and out, steady and patient.
Humanity had not been chosen because it was strong. It had been chosen because it refused to stop. And the universe, vast and ancient, had finally found something it had lost long ago. A species that would not give up on itself. Or on others. The stars did not shine any brighter that night, but they felt closer than ever.